Welcome to a new design education video. Today we're talking about recycling. It's a process through which you reuse materials that have been wasted and turn them into things that are deemed valuable in the market. Recycling is the reason behind waste sorting, separating paper, plastic, etc. There are three main types of recycling. So you have mechanical, energy, and chemical. Mechanical is the most common kind. It's the one where, for example, with plastic, you grind up the plastic and you turn it back into pellets that could be used again. Energy recycling is when you take plastic, for example, again, and burn it to create energy. And the third one is chemical. And chemical recycling is still in progress. It's not there yet. The idea is to change the chemical structure of the material and make it usable again. Humans integrated plastic pretty quickly and pretty early on, but then the Industrial Revolution hit and all common sense flew out the window. No, I'm just kidding, but basically when we started the Industrial Revolution, the idea was, okay, well now we're able to produce so much stuff, let's produce. At some point, especially, and this is like an anecdote, I don't know how true this is, but the idea is that the US started producing outside of the US, right? And so when the containers would come in with the products, it would go back without anything inside. So it was a wasted trip. People got the idea to, from the products that they used, take all of that waste and send it back to the country. So that's kind of one of the first times where we started actually, thinking about recycling. My problem with recycling, though, is that it's a good way for every actor involved to take their responsibility off of their shoulders. So let's say, for example, the actors involved are the state, the company, and the citizen. The company can very easily say, oh, well, I've done my duty, I've made this product recyclable, so it's now the citizen's duty to recycle it, and the state's duty to provide that service. The citizen will tell you, well, it's the company's, responsibility to provide products that aren't wasteful, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that's kind of one of the first issues that I have with recycling is it's very easy to play the blame game. Recycling also takes a lot of infrastructure and this huge system to put in place, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And this kind of system to put in place will cost a lot of money and will probably discourage the actors from doing anything for the environment. So I don't think that it's the greatest way to come into it, and it's not the greatest thing that you could do with wasted products, wasted materials. Luckily, a lot of people are working on this. A lot of people are working on other ways to treat waste. A lot of people are working on not having waste to start with. So there's a lot of stuff happening around that. As I was saying, there's also a bunch of other stuff that we can do before we get to recycling. Before the product got to me, it went through a bunch of other steps. The first step is the concept of the product. It's the idea to create this product. Then it goes to production, then it goes to distribution, and then I use it. Once I'm done using it, it's either going to be discarded or it's going to go through several other steps. So the first one is reusing. So I could either continue to use the product, if possible. I could sell it, I could give it to someone else. There's a bunch of stuff like that you could do around reusing the material. You could also just turn it into something else, like upcycling it. Next step is repairing. So let's say you have a smartphone and you know that the only problem with it is that the battery is dead. What you can do is take it to the shop and get it fixed, or you could buy a battery online and figure out how to repair it because it's really easy. Or you can have repair shops, right? So for more complex products. So that's the second step, repairing. After that, you have remanufacturing. Remanufacturing is really, really cool. It's something that a company would set up. So let's say that smartphone companies decide, okay, we're going to take back the smartphones and we're going to test the parts to see which ones still work, which ones we can use again, which ones we can send back and avoid manufacturing more parts. And honestly, it saves the company money as well. But then it's also a system to put in place. It's a lot easier than recycling. After that, you have recycling, which is the last step. It's the last step and the one that's furthest away from the consumer. So the consumer doesn't have that much impact on that last step. And it's a lot harder for anyone else, any other actor, to have impact on that last step. Two problems I have with recycling. So there's the blame game, there's the complicated system to put in place, all the infrastructure, all of the services, so that's a bit difficult. Lastly, what I want to say, it's something that I spoke about on my electric car video. Check it out if you haven't. It's the idea that we keep creating these band-aid solutions and they only work for a given amount of time, and we're not actually preparing the world, which is our duty. We can't rob our descendants from having a livable planet. So in that sense, I don't think that recycling is the best idea right now. I think that there are a bunch of other options and that we should pursue a bunch of different things. But I don't know if recycling makes sense economically, ecologically. I don't know if it makes sense for a lot of people. And so I think that other things that we can put in place would make more sense. Alright, that's all I wanted to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you later.